Okay, we're going to take a quick look at race 8 from Bathurst on Friday, 1300 metre maiden. Found one here that we're pretty keen on the $7 line. Glossy Ganoderma from the Bjorn Baker yard. Currently 7 and 2.35 fixed on UBet. And then over on Sportsbet, he's currently 7.5, 2.5 a place. Drifting from 5 out to 7.5. Real lack of money for him early. That really adds to the value, creates a better value factor for us and a good overlay. So let's have a look at the form and why we like Now we're getting a bit of a price here thanks to the first up midfield effort of Glossy Ganoderma when it really tried to make all. It was a pretty bad ride from John Grisdale that way. That day he was well away and led clearly 2 and 3 lengths, and then was not restrained but settled. The horse settled back under him, and 2 pushed up outside him and really forced a lot of pressure mid-race. And just before the bend, he pushed the horse along again, and the horse really had to make 2 runs, even though there wasn't a lot of pressure on the front end. I'll show you what I mean.
Lights on.
Okay. As you'll see, he's very well away
here. 4 Grand Man was slow to move, and Oracle Mist didn't jump that flash. Magic
just jumped straight to the front.
Beginning quickly,
and leads 2, 3, 4 lengths. As you'll see, the horse relaxes, and these others press up outside him and apply pressure here.
After being 3rd last into stride is now 5th, and then followed by a Bundawalla Land, a length and a half away to Burden of Proof, and then followed by
horse along here
Oracle Misses
to get a clear lead again.
Back with 4 Grand Man down the side of the track. Glossy Ganoderma in front at the 600 by a long head to Katana. Bubbles De Beer tracks up well into 3rd.
You see when he gets clear of him here, but goes 3, 4 wide. Battles on really strong in the stretch for a fair while. And it's only the last 50. He puts a bit of a gap there on him. Starts to shift about.
Both going through on the inside, and then followed by Katana.
Still battling on. There, battles again. And it's only here that they run him down. We'll get over the top of him. So it's not a bad. So as we said, he fades slightly on the line and runs 5th after a pretty tough front end trip, really. Now, with that in mind, there's going to be a lot of improvement second up from a spell here, especially off the back of only 2 pretty softish trials. This trial 3rd to Iswarian was a very, very, very good trial, only beaten 0.2 of a length. But if we go even further back into this horse's form, we can see he was looking pretty high class as an early season 2-year-old, and it's sort of to be expected being by charge forward out of a flying spur mare. But there's enough in this pedigree and enough in that first up effort to say he retains a lot of that early 2-year-old ability. So I just want to go and have a quick look at one of the trials from earlier on in his career now, and we'll show you what we mean. Now, prior to debut, Glossy Ganoderma was tried. I was in a trial at Rose Hill, where it finished 3rd to Vinland and Chauffeur. Vinland and Chauffeur have both gone on to bigger and better things, both stakes quality horses. Now, with that in mind, you'll see he was tried it on debut behind Medianati and Single Bullet in the Wyong Magic Millions 2-year-old race leading up to the Magic Millions 2-year-old in January. So they obviously had a fairly good opinion of him, which after that trial 3rd to Vinland and Chauffeur, you'd obviously expect. Now, let's just have a look at the horses that finished back behind him in that Vinland Chauffeur trial. It sort of adds to the depth of it and gives you a good idea that he is above average. Okay, so in that trial, he's finished just on the heels of Chauffeur here, where he's 3rd, Chauffeur 2nd, beaten 3.3, 3.5. Then another big margin back to 4th to Opulanis and Huang Yaoshi. Now, let's just have a look at Chauffeur. Chauffeur came out and won on debut after that and knocked off Corgan Falconic at Rose Hill before running 3rd in a good race behind From Within and Invader. So, and then 2nd to Hootson and Medianati in the Magic Millions. So the form really stands up there. And then that margin back to the 4th horse, Choisier youngster. He's only had 1 start and finished 5th to Khan on debut in the Breeders' Plate prior to that trial 4th. That stacks up left, right and centre. Huang Yaoshi, now a winner 1 from 6, well bred. Broke his maiden at Wyong, formed behind Wassageese. Well, we know that from Victoria now over the Spring Carnival. And then Fortune Star, a well-bred Rosse youngster out of a Dehir mare. Winner 1 from 4, but placed all 4 career starts. So, you know, the form's sort of stacking up left, right and centre here to suggest that Glossy Ganoderma is a very smart horse from the Bjorn Baker yard. Not too concerned about the wide gate, which we don't need to be here at Bathurst. The wide gate's over 1300 isn't really that much of a huge negative. Once this comes up. Down to that later on. So with that in mind, on top, second up from a spell, Fitter, can bring that trial form to the races. Has shown it still holds that trial form through the third to Issuarava. Has shown the trial form prior to debut when it was tried on debut in the Magic Millions 2-year-old at Wyong for 200k. Second up from a spell after showing on pace speed, will be a lot tougher on the front end. 1300 metres, the extra 100 is a slight concern, but this race is nowhere near as tough as that first up effort. And $7, $2.50, really, really hard odds to go past. And yeah, we're happy to be on $7.50, $2.50. Bathurst Race 8, number 5, Glossy Ganoderma.